Football show brought to you by Rhonda Vineyard at Remax. First of all, I want to thank Rhonda Vineyard over at Remax and sponsoring these young men, sponsoring this coach's show. For some guys that can't afford it to get the recruiting service and hopefully move on to the next level. We're here with Coach Scott Cummings today. Glad to have you. You're here on Sunday. Been noticing you working in here. I think it's interesting if you would just kind of walk through a week of being a coach in season. You know, maybe starting with what you did today and exactly everything you'll do leading up into the week. I think a lot of people don't really know all the work that goes into it.
Yeah, absolutely. We meet every Sunday, obviously, during season, and our process is that we have a great booster club, and I'll get here at 12 o'clock. And then all the coaches are required to be here by 1 o'clock, and we always, every Sunday, we eat together. So today we sat down at 1 o'clock and had parents take turns bringing in Sunday meals. And so today we had a good meal from actually a cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburgers from Bel Air Grill with fries and stuff. So that was good. And we just kind of hang out and try to enjoy some time together, not even necessarily talking about our next opponent or anything, just to, we can talk about college football that happened the day before when that starts or whatever. And then somewhere around 1:20, we'll start our day all together and as a full staff and talk about special teams, talk about personnel changes that need to be made here and there and things like that. Then we'll break up into our offensive and defensive rooms and start our actual breakdown of our next opponents, and that takes, it usually here from 12 o'clock till 7 o'clock or so on Sundays, and then Monday, got school, come in and get ready for a JV game and a varsity practice, and so Mondays, get home about 10 o'clock, something like that. And then Tuesdays and Wednesdays are our long practice days on the field. So right after school, getting after it on the field, and then film either before or after practice on those days. So those days you leave, somewhere around 7:30, something like that on those days. And then Thursdays are our shortest days, and that's our walkthrough days. But we also sometimes have middle school football games, like last Thursday night, I didn't leave here till about 10:30 that night, but we try to have Thursdays be the short day where we can actually go home, watch Thursday night football or something, and then of course game days, right after school, players report straight to the field house to start getting their cloth ready and all that, and then we go bless our food and go to pregame meal, and then you know how those are. That's it's going depends on what happens, right? We were here till 2 a.m. last Friday night, Saturday morning. And then I try to give everybody Saturday off. I just say, before you come in on Sundays, just make sure you've watched the Friday night game, know all the mistakes, know what we need to work on, and have a basic idea about your next opponent before you come in. But I don't ask the coaches to do a whole lot on Saturdays. We don't come in, and that's kind of their family day and watch college football or whatever they want to do.
Right, and obviously a ton of work goes into that. I heard the laundry machine's going. Is that something you do on Sunday? Somebody come in to do that for you?
That's something we do every day.
So you wash the.
We started on Friday nights after a game, and then take turns as coaches just coming by and turning the laundry over, for the next load, and then on Sundays, as much as we've got done already, we'll hang jerseys and fold pants and socks and everything, and then but usually we don't have it all done on Sundays, and we're still going with that on Mondays, and then we turn in our practice cloth on Wednesdays, because we got walkthrough on Thursdays. So then we start for washing all the practice cloth, and sometimes we don't even have it done before we need to throw laundry in on game days afterwards. So laundry is something we literally do laundry 6 days a week.
You're exactly right. And a lot of these things I'm asking you because I don't think the average person really understands it. And again, we're here with Coach Cummings with the Rhonda Vineyard from Remax Coaches Show. You talk about meeting on Sunday, breaking down the film. Explain that, exactly what that means. You say you break down an opponent.
Well, each process is a little different with defense, versus offense. Of course, defense has their process, and whether through huddle, just tagging everything, right hash, left hash, ball in the middle of the field, run versus pass when the ball's on the hash, or then formation tendencies, of course, like when they're in trips to this side, how much are they run versus pass versus into the boundary or one receiver side, and that right there just to do that takes probably 4 hours or so before you even start developing your game plan.
Right.
Offensively, we just spend a lot of time looking at personnel on defense, trying to find out what points of attack we want to, kind of go after, and what their coverages are, and how we want to attack those coverages. And, like sometimes as coaches, we overthink things too.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And, sometimes we just need to shut up and put the pen down and, say that's it. We got to go play ball. And if the kids are going to play fast, they can't be thinking too much. So that's the thing as coaches we got to watch out for.
Right, no doubt. And that's difficult. I've been there where you think, man, we can really hurt them on this. Now, when you watch an opponent, are you looking more at their overall scheme? Let's say you're looking at their defense. You're looking more at their overall scheme, or you saying, okay, here's a corner and a linebacker, we feel like we can attack them? Or are you looking more at their personnel? Is it a combination of both?
A combination of both for sure. We want to, if they're a two high, two safety deep team, then we got to have our two high safety beaters, and if they're one high safety team, then we got to have those beaters, and do they play any man, and all those schematic type of things. But at the end of the day, we don't want to leave before we find those matchups we like, and then within those matchups, how can we get on the ball and exploit them, and all those things. And sometimes as coaches we do a good job, and sometimes players mess it up, or sometimes as coaches we overthink it and players make us right, and so there's a lot that goes into that, and but I think it's definitely a combination of both for us. We really look at schematically, make sure we're good and sound, but as long as we're sound now, how can we use the matchups to benefit us the most?
Right. And you talked basically 7 hours of work and didn't mention the kicking game. I know that's a huge part of it, because the kicking game nowadays, it feels like everybody is different.
Everybody. But sometimes because we do have athletes deep. Right now we've got some really good kickoff return guy. We've actually changed our kickoff return this year to give us really 3 guys back there almost. And like sometimes, like we know they're not going to kick it deep. So how are we going to adjust to that? And if they kick it out of bounds on us, we're going to make them kick it again. Which I usually do, but some people don't. They just take the ball to 35, but I'm more of a kick it again guy, because I want to have an explosive play out of the kicking game. And in punt game, like fortunate for us, we're able right now, we got a pretty good kicker, Jake Marcantel, and sometimes he'll get it to the end zone, sometimes he won't on kickoffs, but he's also a really good punter, and we can do a couple of different punt schemes with him. Punt it traditional or rugby style, kick it, or whatever we want to do, and which is better that week,
Right.
Where do we, so yeah, kicking game plays into that a lot too. But with the kicking game, we have Mondays are extra point field goal block days, Tuesdays are punt return for us, and Wednesdays are kickoff return enhanced team. So I usually try to spend some time each of those days leading up to practice at some point, kind of making sure the kicking game stuff's sound. And so for us, we spend mainly on Sundays our offense, defense stuff, but we definitely talk about tendencies on special teams
Right.
too.
And in the kicking game. And so you'll bring the players in on Monday, go over the game plan with them, rehash the previous game, talk about that, look at, hey, here's what we need to improve on, here's what we did well. The first game is always difficult. You don't really know You don't really know. Your scrimmage in high school level is, you don't know what you're getting. Half the numbers don't match up. You guys played a good Gibbs team this week, ended up on the short end of the stick. How will you approach your guys on Monday? You hear some coaches, hey, let's beat them down after wins and pump them up after losses. Let's just be honest with them. How will you approach?
I'm definitely a just be honest with the guy, whether we win or lose.
Yeah.
I'm very honest with them and how I feel like they played. And, like this past week, we're kind of small up front on defense right now. And, Gibbs running their style of play kind of was able to exploit that a little bit, and they get a lot of credit for doing that. But obviously we made mistakes. We couldn't get off the field on defense some, and so the whole first half we only had 2 possessions and we scored on one of those. So it's we got to get off the field, and we got to find ways to get off the field. And offensively we kind of did some decent things in the run game that we have not been doing well. So hopefully we build some momentum from that. But to answer your question, we'll be very honest with them, and we'll watch, probably half the Gibbs game and some key clips we want to show them. But I think, for us, we're playing a lot of sophomores right now.
Right.
And, I told everybody preseason, it's going to take a minute. We're not going to make excuses for them. But the reality of it is, it's just going to take a minute to get them up to game speed.
Right.
And to feel a Friday night, and because it's different, and you got to be a dude to not have some growing pains there. And so those growing pains in some areas kind of manifested themselves a little bit, and we still had a chance to win a game. And so we'll be very honest with them, and already have some,
Right.
Through texting, watch this clip, whatever, or calling. I had a meeting with one of our players this morning, to be like, man, you gotta take a deep breath, dude, and when the breaks don't go your way, you can't just flip out, and you gotta teach kids how to grow up and be young men. And so we'll be very honest with them. We'll break it down for them. They'll know exactly where they stand with some things, and they'll know some of the good too.
Yeah. No, and you're right. I know you're a great coach, and sometimes how you handle those Mondays after a loss are critical. But I also know if you're gonna have games like that, you want them early. And you almost look at it as, hey, we're building to something. It's a constant build. So this week, Morristown East, a good football team, outstanding coach and Coach Slover. I know Austin Leaf and Ledford are great players for them. Running backs, they just came off a tough loss as well to Morristown West. What are you looking on to improve going into this Friday?
Well, we got to be more consistent in our passing game. We haven't been running the ball well in scrimmages and but we actually, for limited possessions that we actually ran the ball pretty well. We had 2 touchdowns called back. We got to clean that up. We got to clean up some penalties. We didn't have a lot of penalties, but the ones we had were after big plays, and they were spotted the fouls. And now instead of a touchdown, it's 2nd and 25, or whatever. So we just felt handcuffed the whole game, so we got to clean some of that up, and just play better mentally at times. And with Morristown East, they got a really good receiver, he's a kid that's going to go play some college ball for sure. And so we're going to have our work cut out for us there. And again, with, like for example, my son, Connor Cummings, starting at corner as a sophomore. He's a good athlete,
right?
But that's a dude.
Yeah.
So like, kids like him, hey, you got to grow up in a hurry.
Right.
This is that's going to be some big boy stuff.
Yeah.
And so we'll find out how good you are, and so when you look at Morristown East and you look at us, I think, playing Gibbs last week slowed us down on defense that we couldn't play as aggressive style of play because of their under center triple option stuff they do, and do a good job with. But this week we'll be able to get back to a little bit about who we are, on defense.
Right.
And I think that'll help us some play faster. So I hope. And on offense, we got to continue to grow their run game. They've got a big defensive tackle. His number 57.
Yep.
Man, you don't move that guy.
Yeah, he's a young man I'm working with.
He splits
player.
double teams,
Yes.
but as good as any kid I've seen splitting double
Right.
teams. And like the reality of it is, it's gonna be tough to get any movement on him.
Yeah.
And so we got a game plan for that, you know, and we'll see. But we got to get more consistency in our passing game, and that starts, again with my other son, Caden Cummings, at quarterback. So
So they're getting a lot at home.
Yeah, so we getting ready to go watch film, and we got to get better. So, and he's a competitor and one of our voted captains. So I know he'll have a mission this week
Right.
to have a better game than he did last week.
Well, good, and they'll improve. And again, with Coach Cummings here at the Rhonda Vineyard with Remax, appreciate her sponsorship and sitting down with Coach. Talking a little bit about some of your guys. First one that pops up, Nolan Faust, great speed. Looking to him, what does he do well? What does he need to improve on? I know he's one of your main athletes.
Nolan's he's not the biggest kid in the world, but he plays bigger than he is. He has no problem putting his body on the line a little bit. He's tough, but outstanding speed and quickness, legit 4.4 on the laser. And so, we've got to find ways to get him the ball. He's sometimes, Nolan, he's just got to continue to grow physically in the weight room, and he works hard at it. He does, and he's trying to gain weight, get bigger and thicker. And if he can do that, then I think he's got really a chance with his speed, his hands. He's got really good hands catching the football. We do a lot with him. We have him at the slot. We'll put him in the backfield in our 2-back sets. We'll motion him through on jet sweeps, or we'll put him in orbit motion and twirl him or go, whatever. So we try to move him around a lot. But he's not the only one. Camden Johnson's got outstanding speed. He's not the biggest dude in the world either, but he can go. And he's got really good cuts and out of his cuts, he's got tremendous burst out of his break. So we've got to continue to find ways to get him the ball. We got Tay Rucker at wide receiver. Tay Rucker's a 4.5 40 kid, and chiseled, and we got to find ways to get him the ball. And it's tough when he's out there, sometimes, but he's definitely our vertical stretch guy, but we can also run him on quick slants and things of that nature, or quick screens and whatever too. But DJ Hunt in the backfield had a really good game last week. He found the holes and was tough, and he don't need much. He don't need much of a gap. He can get in there, and got Simon Williams at over 6'2" at wide receiver, and Jaden White at wide receiver, who's got really strong hands and probably our best overall blocker too. And so we've got guys. We got to find different ways to get them the ball, and that's been my challenge as a coach, to figure out how do I get these guys the ball out here. And sometimes. But at the end of the day, sometimes though, you still got to have a scheme, and you still got to be yourself and have an identity.
Right.
And that's what we've got to get to, is having our run game identity, maybe using RPOs, quick game to get these guys the ball, and then when everybody's up, we got to take our shots and not overcomplicate it.
And it is tough early in the year, because you can see, hey, I got this player, and I've been there. You try to get them all the ball, and you're halfway through the year. Well, I don't even know what we are.
Exactly.
On 3rd and 4, I don't know where we hang our hat.
Exactly.
And so when you have a young team, and I know all the guys you mentioned are younger guys. When you have a young team, sometimes it just takes time, and the players believe it. And I'm glad to hear you say that they're talented guys but working hard. Great
kid. We got a bunch of good kids.
Good, yeah. A quote from Marty Schottenheimer I'll never remember. He was actually never forget. Sorry, he was talking about Vinny Testaverde. He said sometimes talent is wasted on the talented. Sometimes these guys get the talent, and a guy like Vinny's a very great player, but you always wonder why he wasn't better, and so that always stuck with me, and it's good to hear those guys are working hard. On the defense side of the ball, I know they didn't get off the field like you wanted them to last week, but but did a nice job. Caden Earl, Hunter Williams in particular. You know, you talk about those guys a little bit, and also some of the other guys on what you want to see from them.
Yeah, Caden Earl's kind of our emotional leader over there that, you know, most likely leads the team in tackles type of guy.
Right.
You know, he's a good, he'll plug, but he's also a good scrape guy and can run pretty well. So he gets in on a lot of plays and has a great nose for it. And, you know, we've got to get better at, you know, at just, we're figuring out who we are a little bit at outside linebacker with our reduction side outside linebacker. You know, we're playing with a couple of different guys there, and you know, we've got to get kind of like on offense. We've got to make sure we're having our true identity on defense, you know, and not robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know, and like, you know, having our outside linebacker that can really come off the edge and be quick and fast and physical has been a little bit of a challenge, but we've got some guys that we feel like are coming along doing that. And that, you know, Hunter Williams is a kid that, you know, he's kind of a tweener a little bit as far as his body type and size. And, you know, is he an inside linebacker more, or is he an outside linebacker more? So we're trying to get him reps in practice at both so we can get him on the field. Played a lot of snaps this past week. Right. Got, you know, guys challenging too, like Cameron Bates, that's just a sophomore at inside linebacker too. And, you know, in the secondary, we got, you know, Connor Cummings at corner, and at free, we've had Joe Nilsson there, and he's a tough, athletic guy. And the other corner is Camden Johnson, who's, you know, him and Connor, my son, split slot receiver on offense so they can rest on offense, right, but start on defense. And we can't rest him on defense. Camden he is an extremely good corner. Right. And then Caden Stevens, he's our strong safety, and man, he can come up now. He'll come up and feel it and run the alley hard, and he'll knife in there and really take your legs out, you know. So up front, we gotta, you know, play quick because we're small. You know, Josh McSweeney is a quick guy at defensive end. We used to slant a lot. And, you know, we've got a sophomore at nose and Riley Earl right now, and we're running guys in and out a little bit there. And at our anchor end, you know, we've got a couple of different guys. Another sophomore, Gavin Cameron's played a lot of snaps last week there. And, you know, once we got once the TSSAA rules him eligible, Caleb Turner will be a really good one there at the end of the season when he's eligible to go. So. We feel like our best days are definitely going to be the second half of the season. Right. You know, when we're more seasoned and we get these sophomores to grow up a little bit more and understand the pace of play and to trust their keys.
Yeah, and you must have mentioned Coach here, heard 7-8 times sophomore. Mm-hmm. So it's going to take time. I know if there's anybody that can get it done, you're going to get it done.
Appreciate that.
State championship coach, beautiful facilities, great program, great coach, great coaching staff. You're known throughout the state for what you've done, and I have all the confidence in the world that you're going to continue to do a great job here. Want to thank Rhonda Vineyard from Remax again for the sponsorship. Want to thank Coach Cummings. Wish you nothing but the best, and let me know if I can ever do anything for you.
Hey, always. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Coach. Rhonda Vineyard from Remax. Want to thank her for our sponsorship. Next Wave Athletics, starting a recruiting service. Some guys out there can't afford the service. These sponsorships are here to help these young men, help them reach their goals. Here with Nolan Faust, Halls High School. How you doing, Nolan?
Good. How about you?
Good. Want to ask you a couple things. First of all, you signed up with Next Wave Athletics. After a couple of weeks, we're able to get a scholarship offer from Western Michigan. What does that feel like? How does that feel when you get that call and know, okay, I have that first offer?
It was pretty good. Crazy. The first one was always definitely the best.
Yeah.
I'll remember that one forever.
You will. You remember that feeling of hey, here's my offer, and hopefully many more to come. I'm confident that will have the case. Now your tribute, what you're known for is your speed.
Yes,
Coach told me 4.4 laser. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I believe him or not. Is that true? And tell me where you ran that.
I ran a laser at at a baseball camp actually, and it was a 6 something, and then I ran another one at Tennessee. I'm pretty sure it was a 4.4.
Wow. But you're in rarefied air, you know, running that fast. As far as playing football, I know you play baseball as well. What do you love about football?
Just being able to run. Being able to run around.
And when you catch a pass, you're running for a touchdown, you hear the crowd going, you know the guy is chasing you. What's that feeling like?
Kind of nervous, honestly. I hate to say it, but I'm pretty nervous whenever I go out there.
Are you nervous even once the game starts?
No, once the game starts, I'm good.
You're good, but before
it's pretty crazy though.
Do you have any superstitions that you know, before the game, something that makes you maybe not as nervous? Any music you listen to? Or
I just sit there. I don't even jump around nothing. I just sit there and chill out.
Really?
That's how I am. Yeah.
Really?
I just sit there.
Looking back on it, what's been the most exciting game that you've played in?
Like from last year and everything?
Yes.
Probably the Central game last year.
Right. Did you have a good game?
Yeah, I think I had 2 touchdowns. Just remember we beat them for the Battle of Oak Ridge or whatever.
Awesome. Well, tough loss against Gibbs. Got Morristown East this week. Hopefully you looked at the film and everything. Looking at the film, what do you feel like, hey, Nolan Faust as a player needs to do better?
Probably just seeing the field a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And like whenever I run to the sideline, I need to like take my step a little quicker and just move steps quicker. And
right.
Get away from them.
Good, and that's key to being an athlete and being a great athlete is self-evaluation, being self-critical, able to look at yourself and think, hey, how can I get better? Be better every day. Morristown East this week. Do you know anything about them? What are you looking for going into this game? This will be a home game, obviously. You guys feel like you're excited and ready to get in the win column?
I'm ready to play again.
Good.
So tore up from last week. I'm ready to go again.
Well, good. It should hurt. It should hurt a little bit, but you have a great coach. He'll. I'm sure tomorrow won't be great. He'll probably raise his voice a little bit, but that's good for you, and you'll learn from this one and move on. Again, I want to thank Rhonda Vineyard from Remax for sponsoring this show, and thanks Nolan for coming out and visiting.
Appreciate
us.
it.
Thank you. Proud to have Hunter Williams on the show. Appreciate you coming out, Hunter.
Good to be here.
You came from Georgia,
Yeah.
moved in. What's that transition like, going from a smaller school in Georgia now to Halls High School here in Tennessee?
A lot more like hitting, a lot more fast paced, the crowd's bigger, just everything all around is just a lot more intense.
Well, and that'll be good for you. That's why you came here. That's why you decided to move. Playing for a great coach and Coach Cummings. He's going to push you. He's going to push you to be the very best player you can be. Was talking earlier to some of the players, talking about the atmosphere on Friday night here at Halls High School. Have they talked to you about that at all?
No, they haven't, so I'm in for a surprise Friday.
They say it's a great environment, and I know you'll love it. Trying to kind of in between position right now, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, trying to learn both where the coaches can get you on the field. What is that challenging for you? If so, what are those challenges?
It ain't that challenging, just know I'm good at inside, but now I gotta learn outside, just be more versatile for these coaches and know I can play wherever they need to put me and I'll get the job done.
Very good. And if you can, balancing the studies, balancing the weight room, balancing a social life, a girlfriend and all that stuff, and football, how do you do that?
I just take it one day at a time. I give it to God and just hopefully I get through the next day and just be able to do it through Him.
Well, good. And that's great. Leave it in His hands and everything will work out for the best. Looking at you now, I've met you about a month ago. I can tell you're already in the weight room, gaining weight, maturing as a young man. Feel like you got a bright future. Coach Cummings feels the exact same way. And looking forward to watching you play against Morristown East this Friday. All right, here with Rhonda Vineyard from Remax Coaches Show over at Halls High School. Caden, appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Just want to talk to you a little bit. Number one, about the recruiting process. You signed up with Next Wave Athletics to help in your recruiting. Still going to wait a little bit on your film, but when you think about the recruiting process going through it, where are you at in your head right now as far as that's concerned?
As far as that, I'm just worried about getting good film out and making sure everything's nice and neat and making sure that I'm planning to get the best film out there to all the coaches. And right now I'm just trying to figure out what schools I want to go to as far as that. So I still have a lot of time to think about that.
You do, yeah. You're still young, and I'm getting your film out as soon as we get it there. I know you played great against Gibbs. Can you maybe tell me things that you did well against Gibbs, what you were proud of?
I think I fought hard. I still have a lot of things to work on, to read my guards and read my keys. But other than that, I think I did a pretty good job of just getting to the ball and trying to make plays for the defense.
Right. I heard double digit in tackles, led the team in tackles. That should be your goal every week. I just talked to Coach Cummings about you, and he said, hey, he expects you to lead the team in tackles every week. So that's definitely something he's looking for you to do. Now, tough loss. How, as a player, are you able to regroup and come back and know you got a good Morristown East team on Friday?
Well, like I said, we got to be better with reading our guard and reading our keys and just trusting what coaches tell us to do. So on Monday, we got to go out there and be ready to practice.
Right.
First home game, really excited. I'm ready to get out there and play after that tough loss against Gibbs. I'm ready to go.
I can tell you are. You're getting me pumped up just sitting here. Well, good. And Coach Cummings will he'll be he's gonna have to point out your mistakes. The whole team mistakes on Monday. That's something you got to deal with, but learn from it and get better. Now, looking at what you do well as a player, if you said, hey, I really feel like I do this well, what would that be?
I feel like whenever it comes to fitting the gaps and tackling, I feel like I do a really good job with that, and especially with making those big plays and put myself in position to make big plays for the defense. I think that's what I do well.
That's great. Why a home game? Why are you so much more excited about a home game?
I mean, a home game, there's nothing like walking down them steps, listening to that crowd, and the fight song and run through the H, there's nothing like it. It gets me fired up every time I think about it.
In a great atmosphere. I've never been to a game here. I'm going to come to the game on Friday. Great atmosphere here from everything I've heard, and a beautiful facility. Coach Cummings and his staff has done a great job with that. You're a talented young man. To achieve your goals, what do you feel like you need to do off the field?
I feel like I got to be in the weight room consistently, getting bigger, stronger, and faster, especially my speed. It's not where I want it to be right now. So we really got to work on that to make sure I'll be able to play the next level.
Good. Well, jump rope at night. I've told you that, right? Jump rope,
sandwiches,
peanut butter sandwiches, all the stuff I've been saying for years. Well, Caden, glad to have you on the Rhonda Vineyard from Remax Coaches Show over here at Halls High School. Wish you nothing but the best this week.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.